pursuing and correcting the violation, and all fines related to the violation are paid in full. 453-9B, action to correct. By the township, if a premises is in violation of this article, the township may elect to perform the work necessary to correct the violation and/or contract to have such correction made. In such event, the cost of making such correction shall be charged and assessed against the premises upon which the violation was occurring as a municipal lien, and any added to the tax roll for the premises as an assessment to collected in the same manner as property taxes. Further, the owner of such premises shall be responsible for all costs and fees incurred in pursuing and correcting the violation, and all fines in the township may pursue collection via civil action. 2, written notice to owners prior to the township, its agents or subcontractors correcting a violation of this article. The person in possession of said premises and the record owners as disclosed by the county, by the records in the St. Clair County Register of Deeds office shall be given written notice of the violation and time to correct the violation not to exceed 45 days as determined by the township in its sole discretion. The violation notice shall also advise the owner of their right to request a hearing within 21 days of the date of the violation notice. The cost of determining the owners and parties in possession of any premises upon which violation is or has occurred, together with any attorney fees, recording, title search, or other similar expenses shall be included in and made a part of the lien above provided for. C, hearing determination. A person who receives a violation notice may request a hearing before the township supervisor concerning the violation by submitting a written request for a hearing to the township clerk or supervisor within 21 days of the date of violation. If a written request for violation hearing is timely received, the township supervisor shall schedule a violation hearing as detailed herein. If a written request for a violation hearing is not timely received or the violation is not corrected within the time required in the violation notice, the owner of the property involved shall be responsible for municipal civil infraction subject to subsection E regarding noncompliance below. Under 2, C hearing number 2, service of notice of violation hearing. Upon timely receipt of a request for a violation hearing, the supervisor shall set a time and place for a violation hearing, and written notice thereof shall be given to all interested parties as provided herein. Under 2A, personally, the hearing notice may be served personally. B, registered or certified mail. C, publication. D, posting on structure. Or E, interested party defined. For the purpose of this section, an interested party shall be any person or entity listed on the assessment roll or found upon the premises. If the identity of an interested person is not known, the hearing notice may be directed to all parties with an interest in the subject property. Proof of service, the hearing notices shall be filed with the township clerk on or before the date of the violation hearing. Under 3, conduct of the violation hearing, the supervisor shall conduct the violation hearing, which is a non-public hearing. Violation hearing may be recorded and minutes of violation hearing shall be approved by the supervisor. An interested party may, at its expense, have counsel present at the violation hearing and has the right to introduce relevant evidence to examine and or cross-examine witnesses and to have their objections to the violation notice heard by the supervisor. The township enforcing officer may be represented by counsel assigned by the township attorney at the violation hearing. Supervisor may set rules of procedure and conduct related to the violation hearing. Findings 4, measure of proof. After considering evidence, testimony, and arguments presented at the violation hearing, the supervisor shall determine whether a violation of this article exists. Findings based on a preponderance of all the evidence. Supervisor shall render his or her decision after a violation hearing in writing sent to all parties. Under B, decision. If the supervisor determines that a violation exists, the written finding shall recite the basis thereof in sufficient detail to identify the evidence relied on to reach the finding. Copies of written determination shall be distributed to the enforcing officer and each interested party. Under C, dismissal. If after a violation hearing the supervisor determines a violation does not exist, the violation notice shall be dismissed and no further action taken hereon. Under D, the compliance period. If after a violation hearing the supervisor determines a violation exists, the supervisor may, at his or her discretion, allow time to correct the violation not to exceed 45 days. Under E, noncompliance, township action to correct. In the event of violation is not corrected within the time demanded by the violation notice, or if a violation hearing has occurred at the time allowed by the supervisor, if any, the owner of the subject property shall be responsible for municipal civil infraction, a fine of which shall be $100 per day after the time to correct has expired. In addition to all other remedies available under the law, the township may, in its sole discretion, correct such violation through its own agents and subcontractors. All costs and fees incurred by the township to pursue and correct a violation shall be the responsibility of the owner of the subject property and shall constitute a lien on the subject property to be added to the tax rolls as a special tax against said premises collected in the same manner as property taxes. The township may also pursue collection of all costs and fees by pursuing a civil action against the owner of the subject property. Severability, the provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared to be severable if any clause, sentence, paragraph, rule, regulation, section, or subsection is declared void or inoperable for any reason by any court, shall not affect any other portion, part or portion thereof, other than that part declared void or inoperable. Repeal. All ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. An effective date, this ordinance shall become effective upon publication after adoption. Inspection of the ordinance. A copy of this ordinance may be inspected or purchased at the Township Hall at 5111 River Road, East China, Michigan 48054 during regular posted office hours. At this hearing, the township supervisor may wear a black robe.
Gosh.
Strike that, please.
Okay, that was the first reading. Good job.
All right, moving on.
Good job.
I need a drink.
Wet your
Not
whistle?
that watery.
That's tough of you.
Thanks, Mr. Knotts.
That's a good job.
All right, new business 3, consideration of township pursuing an East China Township Public Services Director.
Wait, we didn't do
How about doing
NB1.
one and,
No, I
how
don't
about
wanna do
doing
that
one
one.
and two?
Back
I don't
up.
want to do that one.
Get- well,
You skipped right to
Out
new
of
business
ourselves.
3, man.
I'm not giving Travis his training either. Yeah, now I got it out of
Okay.
order.
New business for training water
NB1.
plant.
Yeah, I gotta find it. All right. Yeah, new business 1, request for training water plant. We have another employee that would like to pursue some training, which Mr. Knotts loves, as do the rest of us. This operator would like to go to water treatment class 1 offered by Eagle and Roscommon on April 23rd to the 25th of 2024. There's your general fund, the fund allocation, and it's for $1,174.42. I make a motion to approve this as presented.
I would like to,
Mr. Knotts, report.
discussion, please.
Pardon me?
Discussion, please.
Yeah. Any discussion? If not, clerk, please call the roll.
I'd like to ask the township water plant director a question.
By all means.
No, thank you. Recognizing who this is being for, my question is this a good idea for the township? I'm sure it's a good idea for the employee.
It's a great idea for the township. Anybody, this will help him with his F1, it's the highest water license you can achieve, and anybody that gets certified that license to the township.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion?
I have none. Anybody?
Okay, roll call vote. Clerk Smith, yes. Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Knotts?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Supervisor Westrick?
Yes. Thank you. New business 2, the appointments, commissions. With your blessing, here are what we're going to do. ZBA members for 3-year terms, they expire February 20th of 2027. Joanne Cottrell and Pam Kalb for ZBA members. Historical Commission for 3-year term, 22/20 of 27. Kathy Deneen and Carrie Ann Kotz. And St. Clair River Sewer Water Authority is a 5-year term, expires February 20th of 2029. Robert Freehan. That's what we have. Any comments, questions? If not,
Do we have to do it separately, or can we do it all?
No, all in
Okay,
one.
okay, so moved.
Mr. Richley,
I support.
Ms. Babel? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. On that note, too, the appointment that we made at the last meeting, is it, what's his name?
For Park?
Hold on, let's check
There were
the
two
notes.
names.
Beekman, Frank?
Yes.
He decided not to take the position after all. He didn't have to, so we have a vacancy on the
Oh.
Parks Commission again, just so everybody knows. If there's any interested parties out there, submit. We do have some people, I think, that did apply.
Speak into the microphone, and you're recruiting at this point.
I'm recruiting. I think we have some people in the hopper that we had applied to, but can't remember. But by all means, please submit. There's applications available on the website, interested parties for the Planning Commission filling. And we also have a Planning Commission, but Parks Commission that we'll talk about. But Planning Commission also has a vacancy as well.
And so does the Historical
And
Commission, has
Historical
two.
Commission has 2? Okay. How about the cemeteries? We full
No,
there?
we're good.
We're good, okay. So we need 4 people, minimum. Please apply. Compensation is a wonderful experience. All right, business 3. Consideration, East China Township Public Services Director. We discussed this in a work session, talking about moving forward to prepare for advertisements, whatnot.
Did you take mine?
I can give you one, I have lots.
Good, because mine's not. Thank you.
Could I make a request?
Yes,
That
you
whatever
can.
documents were shared at the workshop are not part of the agenda packet. Because we have to formally
there's at least
request
one
that I create a job
confidential-
description and recruit.
Right.
There's at least one confidential document in there.
Yeah, this one says confidential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna want those back, but this was just for discussion in the work session. What goes
Yeah.
in the record will be just advertising for a public services director position and exploring that further. So, I guess, if I make the motion, we go ahead and move ahead forward with the public services director position to be descriptive and advertised and interviews selected possibly by the township manager, and participate as needed, I guess.
What I would request is that you move to authorize me to create the position, the job description for presentation at the next meeting.
Sounds good
There
to
you
me.
go, there you go.
Create,
What she
authorize you
said.
to make the job description and what? I'm sorry. I want to word this right.
Authorized to recruit, but I would
Yes.
like
Create
to.
the position.
Seek
create the-
candidates.
Create the
Yeah.
position and
Seek
present the job description.
And seek recruitment
She has to
or,
pre-
And
She
and
has
then at
to-
the next meeting, you would
I got
We
you.
would approve
entertain the
that.
idea to approve that and then recruit.
All right, so moved on that.
You moved?
All a good idea to
I'll
me.
support.
All right. Any other discussion? Yeah, that brings it back to the next meeting then. So,
You're gonna
All
have
those
to
in favor
say
say aye.
yeas and nays on
Aye.
that. It's a motion.
all those in favor say aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Okay. All right, announcements, remember comments?
You getting
Anyone?
these back?
I have it, I don't have it. Oh, yeah, sorry, let's turn that back in.
You can keep
We
those.
can do it after the meeting.
But they're just not part of the agenda packet.
Oh, it's just the workshop. All right, I'm going to mark it as such.
Any announcements or member comments? You guys saw the FYI that
Yes,
was in
but I'll
here,
wait till last.
the hospital, Tri-Hospital EMS. See
Yeah.
how we're the winner again with number of calls by far.
Oh, of course we are.
But I
Yes.
will let you know that the fire authorities, on both fire authorities, the medical calls have gone down significantly because they're handling this now.
Yeah.
And it's paid through millage. So we are gonna hopefully be backing off on our percentage of cost for those authorities
would
for
be
next
it.
year's budget.
Wonderful.
So it's a great move in the right direction. Let's hope it continues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, that's all I have.
sure.
How about, Deb, anything?
I'm good.
Andy?
Go ahead,
Sorry.
down there first.
He'll get to you in a minute.
You already know what I'm gonna bring up, but, well, one of the things I'm gonna bring up. But the, land acquisition next to, potential land acquisition next to the river park, which we talked about, this is the third time now, but, I just wanted to bring it up at least one last time to kind of gauge if there was support or not for that. After talking to, one of the park commissioners is here tonight, but talking to quite a few of them, they support that, but, basically, let's see, after talking to, oh, I already said that, there may not be time this year, to go for a grant, but potentially next year, because the deadline's April, so it's like, we're cutting it close. But, if the board is willing to at least consider it, depending on the price, obviously, I mean, we're not gonna do it for $1 million or $500,000, whatever, but whatever it's valued at, if the, I can't remember what it's called, the
Appraisal?
appraisal, yeah, he's paying for an appraisal right now, just to see what it is, and just to kind of give us an idea. I mean, if it's $30,000, he's not gonna do it, but he's like, if it's 80,000 or something like that, he might consider it if we were to get a grant. And my opinion is, if we can get a grant and potentially matching funds, I would personally support it, but obviously I don't speak on behalf of the entire board. So I'm just bringing that up to gauge where everybody else is.
What does the park commission say about this?
They want it, well,
Excuse me,
go
can
ahead.
I, can I?
Sure.
Because I'm here in that capacity. Can I speak
Yeah.
to
You
it?
want him to go to the,
Yes,
Yeah.
can you go to the podium, please, Don? Thanks.
Hi, my name's Donald Wills. I represent the Park Commission, and I am fully involved in trying to acquire this property. I think we could do it this year, to be perfectly honest with you. I have brought some mapping that the gentleman that bought that property, purchased that property, provided. Includes his phone number, his address. I mean, I would love to talk to him personally, but I'm certain that that's not the way this works. So I would love to let you guys look at this property.
I think we've seen that.
Have you?
His meeting.
Yeah, pass it out?
Yeah,
Okay.
we've seen that a couple times. Don.
And then I would suggest that we can acquire that property with a negotiation with them. I've come up with several plans. I would love to meet with you outside of this meeting and just discuss what my idea is and let you guys run with it.
I think we're talking about a DNR grant for possibly land acquisition through the
Yes.
Parks Commission on
So,
that.
Yes.
to be clear, that dedeadline is approaching quickly.
Right.
You will need an appraisal and some sort of purchase agreement in place prior
Right.
to.
So to speak to that, I've actually talked to our assessor, Jamie Barra, and he has worked on it and told me last Friday he would have the number. I would assume by now he does.
I'm not sure they'll accept an assessment.
Right.
They
Well,
want
no,
commercial
it does,
appraisal.
it specifically speaks to the grant that they will accept an estimate from an
An
assessor.
estimate from the assessor. Okay,
Yes.
good.
To submit for the grant.
Correct.
Right.
And then once you actually have a chance of being accepted, then you go ahead and spend the extra money to have it assessed and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically the Parks Commission's in charge of acquiring land. They're the ones that kind of want to pursue that if that's something
But
that you
the-
want to do.
I was
Again,
under
to be
the
clear,
understanding.
So the highest governing body, which is
Purchases
the Township Board, would have to present a resolution, and you would be the lead on the project. You would take the recommendation of the Park Commission that this is what they want you to do, and then you take the next step, whether you approve it or not. But that has to be done by so a formal recommendation from the Park Commission is really helpful. But I don't know if there's time for all of those steps, because you also have to have a public hearing,
Yeah, and when's the DNR grant?
What's your deadline?
April 1st.
Yeah.
And
I
how
would
is
like
the
to-
seawall
Sorry.
for that whole?
The
that's-
seawall is
that's
intact.
a long wall
I
coming
went all
back
the way
to
down. We'll have to have that splash wall put up, but only like 25 feet. I went out and measured it, took pictures.
Looks like all the pilings that have to come out, they're all
I'm
wrapped.
sorry, go ahead.
The pilings that are along there, there were
Those all
former
have to come-
docks.
Yeah, those have to get pulled.
Yeah, the
And
docks are
get
no
those
good.
5 slips, we could probably turn them into 7 slips, but that would be amazing to have like boat slips and a little bit extra parking there, a little bit extra fishing.
East China Township Marina.
There you go.
And we could put a sign up there too, right? With our logo.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry, I'm getting off the beaten path, but I see possibilities. I thought I'd bring it up to your guys' attention.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, we'll be looking for a recommendation from you guys once you get your assessment or whatever that is.
That's probably coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, at least we're gonna vote on doing that tomorrow, I think.
Okay. Well, we'll be looking forward on the radar then. Thanks, Don.
Welcome.
But the question of, the thing, we have to know whether or not there's, like, a majority support.
We have no facts, Alan.
Yeah, it
Right, right,
depends
no, I
on the
agree, I
details.
agree, I agree.
I mean, I can't say one way or another. Great, I think, but, again, it depends on
How much?
what
Right,
everything
I agree.
equates to, If, you're asking, us to commit to $100,000.
There's a lot of seawall there to
Yeah.
commit to, is
Right.
my thinking,
First of all, we
is
gotta find out
upkeep, maintenance,
A
long-term.
price,
Yeah.
and if we apply for the grant next, that's probably the direction we need to go. The first direction is gonna be, we'll have an appraisal or an estimate, or an assessor will have an estimate, and then apply for the grant. And then it'll be need a resolution, some other stuff, some public hearings, but if that can all be accomplished, move forward, then we would know how much we would be talking about if there's a
Right.
match or whatever else, and what we're gonna do, so we
Right.
can't really speak, let's keep moving forward by all means, I think, but until we have numbers in front of us, I don't think there's much more we can do.
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
I
okay.
agree.
To make a decision at that
Right.
point.
And that,
Agree.
one last thing.
No, Wes, don't run off it.
Okay,
Don't run off so fast.
he just mentions a few things I didn't realize, and when I was hearing here on the board, that there may be some work that needs to be done before that is suitable to be used with a sign on it that says East China Park. And I would think we ought to have somebody take a look and say, hey, you gotta do this, this, and this, and it's gonna cost you about this much money. That's in addition to the purchase price of the item.
I'm assuming that the Parks Commission is gonna be sending that information along with it, that
Well,
they-
you
what they
know,
feel that this needs this, this, and this, and
Either that, or, you know, we could, again, I would not be, if they're serious about getting it, they're going after the grant, I wouldn't be to, having our engineer take a look and give us an estimate, what would have to be done to it and how much it would cost us. We ought to know that. You know, we kinda
Yes.
got caught good when we had him go look at the town, what we thought was a really easy little railroad bridge fix project, and all of a sudden, there was a whole lot more wrong with it than we could see. I just think that should be part of it.
we're gonna need a list of
I
what
agree.
needs to be done to it as
What
well.
needs to be done, and an estimate of the cost, so that, you know, wanna make sure that what needs to be done is not gonna cost more than the property, for example.
Can I ask trustee Ralph Knotts a question? What would,
You just mentioned some things that need, or
but
actually,
what would you,
just
what would you require to be comfortable with that? Would it be
somebody
the
take a look
county
at it,
engineer?
somebody who knows what they're looking for,
So
take a
do
look
we
at
have-
it.
do we
say,
have someone
You
like-
need to do this, this, and this, and it's gonna cost you probably
Right.
an estimate.
Yes.
You know, you don't need a,
So,
Not the
do
hard
we have a
stuff.
county engineer that can run through that stuff? DPW, maybe?
I don't know how qualified they would be for that. I guess
That'd be like a
at
seawall
least come up with a
Will we
list
have
of,
to hire someone to do?
Maybe
is what
get
I'm
a,
asking.
from a seawall guy, get
Yeah,
a,
seawall
have a look at it,
companies.
and
yeah,
give us
what are you
a
looking at down there? There's
expectancy,
piling to be removed and what else?
maintenance, upkeep.
The piling is for the, and probably a little bit of dredging as well at the end of that. So, and then,
make sure
I
the
think like
seawall's in
25 feet, 35 feet, 30 feet, I think is, it needs to have that splash wall up,
Well,
the ice
you just did
diverter.
the seawall project over at the kayak launch, right?
Yes.
The contractor that did that's now out of business, but whoever else bid that, maybe check with them and see if they could, hey, can you take a look and give us a rough idea? That's what I would do.
Okay,
Okay?
consider that done.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. That could be a big
They can
dollar,
give you a ballpark, you know.
big dollar
budget.
item.
splash wall, so far I've heard.
That.
No, this stuff's free.
Anything else?
Anything else coming down?
It'd be very
Wait a minute,
We're
you're
still on Alan.
way over the limit, you know.
I interrupted him, he has more.
So your time's
Money.
used.
I'm done. I interrupted
All right,
him,
go ahead.
assistant.
So I don't know if you guys heard about what the state legislature did with wind and solar zoning thing, where they can take property now for whatever they want. But, well, for renewable energy. So Citizens for Local Control was formed, and I had a friend of mine that went to a meeting. I couldn't go because I was working, but they said they're campaigning for a return to local control when it comes to zoning. And just as an example, I mean, we have DTE in our township, so I mean, they're starting to talk about renewable energy. And if they wanted, I mean, this is an extreme example, but if they wanted to, they could take like park property. In our master plan, it says that's park, but they could like take it over and say, well, no, we're gonna build a plant here if they wanted to. So this could directly impact our township as well.
They would
as
have
well
to
as-
lease the land from us.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
We've had a few, DTE doesn't directly do that too, they use other companies. Well, is one of them, I can't remember, but I've been contacted by all with farmland. But they've sent us numerous, Cindy knows about too, but.
They have like eminent
Absolutely not,
domain
we will
where-
not do that. So they, it's through a third party.
But we
There's also
can't-
resolutions that are being prepared by MTA.
Yep,
that's
what I'm about to read.
Yeah, we went over at the last supervisors meeting in
Mhm.
St. Clair. You know, as far as East China, I don't see a big issue here. We don't have a lot of open area that they can do it on.
I'm using an extreme example, but I mean, they could do that if they wanted to. I mean, and there's
On
nothing.
their property, they could.
And there was nothing that we could,
Yeah.
we couldn't just say,
They would
well,
never next to these two plants, but anyway.
but we
Yeah.
couldn't say, well, look at our master plan and it's zoned this way. That's not the way it works anymore. For the first time in 100 years,
That's not quite true. Like the zoning is being directed by a group at state, and they're going to have certain requirements, and we're not allowed to exceed those requirements, and they're probably gonna be a lot looser than ours. And the guys that are really worried about that is the guys that have a lot of big farmland that they wanna put something on. But it's not Wild West. There will be rules, but they won't be our rules. They'll be
Correct.
state's rules.
Correct.
And I'm sure that the supervisor and the township manager are probably gonna learn all more about that than we
Well,
do.
the whole point that I'm getting to.
I
So.
think what you're referring to is the township's been voting these down, when people have been coming to them, and the state's taking that away. They want to.
Well, they could
wanna
vote it
override that.
down.
They want to override that.
Well, what do you want us to do? Get to the bottom
I'm getting
line.
there.
Get to the bottom line.
So we are rural and have many power plants around already. With this new law, they could override our master plan and zoning. That's a fact. And then I'm gonna read the petition language that they're passing around, which I have a petition here tonight if anybody wants to sign. Initiation of legislation to amend the Clean and Renewable Energy and Energy Waste Reduction Act by repealing statewide requirements for the construction and development of certain wind and solar energy facilities and energy storage facilities, including assessment of environmental, natural resources and farmland impact, wages and benefits, requirements for workers, setback distance, size and height of structures, and amount of light and sound emitted. If enacted, this proposal would allow local units of government to determine their own standards for such facilities. The point is, the whole point is, the state can come in to whatever community they want if they see a spot and they go, well, and it's not officially law yet, it's not law till November of '24, but it's coming. And there's Chinese companies that are coming into the state of Michigan and they're already, doing this. Local units of government have allowed it, but once this is law, they will just overthrow whatever they want, if they want.
I'm sure MTA is right on that. They
Yeah.
have lobbyists, we pay all this money to be members.
That's why they're
and
pushing this petition.
There will be hearing more through them, I think.
At our supervisors meeting,
Force.
it was a consensus that there's a snowball's chance, and you know where, that this is gonna happen. But they had a sample resolution that they did share, that if we felt necessary, they could pass that, supporting that they don't approve that law you're talking about. And I can dig that up if you want, and use that. I just didn't see the real big need here in East China Township, because we don't have any big parcels of land that would even work for that,
But if you're gonna piss a group of people off, 3,000 people is easier to piss off on somewhere in a big city. You're gonna go after the rural areas where nobody is. It's-
But again, I don't know if we have any rural areas in our township big enough, but we can pass that resolution, I can send it on to you if
No,
you'd
no,
like.
I'm not saying pass it, I just have a petition if anybody wants to sign it, that's all I was saying.
Isn't there a resolution, that MTA is providing a resolution that boards could pass?
That's what I just said, Ralph.
They normally
Then
do
what
when
you
we
just
get to
said.
that point.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
When it
I
gets
mean,
to that point,
It's a stupid
then
law.
they take action.
The
Right.
fact that it's not gonna affect us.
I
we
will
can-
resurrect
we
that
can-
from my file in
Yeah,
the
we
email
could,
and,
I think we could
send that
certainly
on.
address that. It's stupid to take away the local control of zoning. I don't care what it's for, and I think, in that regard, I agree with Alan, that we ought, a resolution of this board that says that we support what they said, that this is not a good idea, I would support.
I will forward that to all the members, and then, we'll take a look at it, and of course, we'll respond as well, because it's in resolution form. Okay?
We can look at it at the next meeting.
Yep. All right, so that works
That's all
for
I
you?
got. Yep.
And I don't have anything else.
We already had stuff, so you don't get any more. All right. Nicole?
Hungry.
All I had was, what color do we want for the sign at the top? We did the yellow stripes because originally it had the logo that has yellow in it. Do we want, they left the yellow here and then the silver, as in this one. But I didn't know if we wanted, these yellow just kind of seemed random after they took the logo off. Do we want silver at the top or
Can you show
yellow?
that other one that has the silver right there?
Yep,
There's a page right
Yep.
to the right that
It's-
has
How
silver.
come we don't have our little logo on it?
because it took up too much of the sign.
Okay.
This was
Wanted more
silver.
screen.
Yeah.
Huh?
We wanted more screen.
screen than,
Oh, I see, this is
Words.
the other way you had it before.
Yeah,
Because
see the
then we can make
silver?
The wording a
Oh.
little bigger and.
yeah.
Why don't you put the logo up here on the top?
And there's
Leave the
the
screen the same
the
size.
silver.
You got this stuff on the side that says Charter Township of
I
East
could
China.
go
Instead
either
of that,
way.
have us-
I
have
like the
logo
silver,
there.
but
Have the logo there, instead of the words China of East China.
Well, it'd have to be a pretty small logo to keep the
Well,
screen that big.
no, leave the screen alone. Put it up here.
Then we can't have the wave. The waves,
All right, never
Yeah.
mind. You guys have fun with that.
either way, I'm good, silver or yellow. I think they both look good.
I already told you what I thought. It's
What
up
do you
to you
think?
guys. I don't
and you
really
want it
care.
to say road though, not
I do
RD.
want
That
it
was the only
spelled
comment I
out.
had, to see
I
it
don't
says
like
yellow
that
road.
abbreviated
Yeah.
on there.
I think the silver makes it look cleaner, but whatever.
Okay.
I do too.
Silver
does.
The
and
silver.
road.
I'm gonna have somebody program us.
Ralph's gonna tell you when it's gold now, so we
You push a button,
Okay.
it'll show up.
Is that good on that one?
That's right.
Okay. you
We
got
got
it?
on
Yeah,
that
I'm
one?
done.
Okay. I just wanted to remind residents that we are during our 9 days of early voting right now. Tomorrow's day 5. We're here from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can come in, cast a ballot if you've not already voted an AV ballot, and get that taken care of before Election Day. Election Day will be next Tuesday. We'll be here open. The
What's the
polls will be
election
open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come out and vote.
Okay, anybody
Thank you.
else? General comment, construction, you know, Groundhog said we're gonna have an early spring, and it kinda looks like we are. So, I know that there's gonna be some complaints on construction areas and whatnot. Be patient with us, please, but they are on a list. We have a master list. We have engineers have been out there. We talked about it again today. Keeping an eye on things, you know, for sinkholes. It's gonna get repaired, once the weather does finally straighten out. So it's a little earlier this year. It's still February, but we have April weather already, so. But it all will be gone over and completed, as soon as it does dry up. Unfortunately, my belief is that March and April will be just raining and whatever, and, you know, it'll still be May, so please be patient. If there's an urgent need, we talk about shoulders sinking, trying to get your mail, and if there's a problem there, it definitely will be corrected. But we're gonna have the township's engineers, inspectors gonna be on that this week, making sure that
Good.
it's safe on the shoulders and whatnot, people getting their mail, whatnot, so.
Right, drive.
But if you have a concern, please give us a call.
Good.
That's it.
Okay.
Seeing that,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Ritchley,
Support.
Mr. Knotts, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, we're adjourned.
Thank you.